rhubarb is sure pretty.
Yeah, it is pretty, isn't it?
And unlike that spinach or whatever, it tastes good.
Yeah.
So any sharp edges are going to kill the plastic. So I save my non-canning jars, and this will prevent any damage happening to the greenhouse plastic once it's on. I got my greenhouse plastic and also the liner for the hotbeds from Vivor, and I can put the links in the description. I'll talk about them more once I have them up. These edges are also a problem. On my last hotbed greenhouse, I covered those just with fabric strips and it worked just fine. And I'm probably going to use some baling twine to secure the 3 sections of cow panels together. It'll give it just a little bit more stability. And I really do it redneck style every time. The cow panels are just tied down with baling twine to the pallets at the bottom. And then there'll be the layer that's the lining inside the hotbed. And then there will be all of the compost that's inside the hotbed, and that will also hold everything together and hold the cow panels down. There's redundancy, lots and lots of redundancy. By the way, smaller than 4x8 and 3.5 feet tall, and it doesn't have enough mass to heat up. Hotbeds only work when they're at least 4x8 and then 3.5 feet tall.
I run out of steam right at 7 and
It will arch.
7 3/4. Are you ready?
It will arch. You're just helping it arch. Okay, so I'm just going to push here. You've already done what you need to do. All I need is just a little bit of stabilization. As
Stable house.
I don't want that end to kick out. Thank you.
Looks fun. You're welcome. Have you got it?
Yeah, I just got to tip it over, try and figure out might just not meet.
Double hotbed, huh? Yeah, you
Triple.
are ready for January.
Huh?
You are ready for January.
I'm ready for January.
All right, so when you use 2 cow panels across the width of your greenhouse, it means that you need a little bit more bracing, because when you double the cow panels over each other, it makes them heavier. So you have heavy, thick here in the middle and weak, thin on the sides here. So I have propped up the top middle with 2x4s so that I'm not bending my cow panels in an undesirable manner while I'm getting the rest of my supplies together. I want to support these weak sides as best I can so that they hold their shape. I need to put cross bracing here, and then I need to put vertical bracing. But because I haven't done it this way before, it's just taking me a little bit more time and a little bit more thinking to make sure I'm doing it the way that will be most supportive for the roof. All right, when I'm out here working by myself, this is how I mark my wood. I mark with a pencil where the cow panel line is. If you're somewhere that you don't have electricity, or it just seems like it would be too much trouble to get out an electric saw of some kind, just clamp your wood down to your hotbed. Do it this way. There we go. Okay, so You want your holes closer together and more often with smaller holes rather than like 4 really big holes. You want 7 little holes close together. As close as you can get to the edge without compromising the strength of your wood. I think that one was a little too close to the edge, that last one. If it starts to split, you can't use it. It doesn't do any good if it's split. So there's one end. Now we're going to do the other end. Alright, that's how much wire I have. I put it in so that it sits in the middle. If you can see that. And that way I can wire from both ends. So you can see the little holes. And all the ends of the wire are on the inside instead of the outside. C-clamps are your best friend here. I know it looks like it's not straight from this angle, but if I went and stood at the other end of the greenhouse, you'd see that it is flat. I undid some wire here so that I could pull this side up a little bit. And then I used C-clamps to hold it where I want it. This side was already high enough, so there's very little I need to do on this side. I'm going to screw these in. I used, I think these are called torque screws. They're the star-headed ones. I, as a woman that doesn't have as much upper body strength as a man, find these screws infinitely easier to use. For anybody that is a seamstress or crafty, you always have some kind of weird project that you decided not to finish, that you don't love anymore, and that fabric is perfect for the sides of your greenhouse. You need to cover all of the raw edges on your cow panels. These little cable ties, zip ties work just fine. Usually in the past I've just sewn it on, but right now I feel like I'm in a little bit more of a hurry because I have so much more cow panel to cover. But every overlap where you've got that raw edge needs to be covered. You can get electrical conduit insulator or water pipe insulator, the soft gray tubes that kind of look like a water weenie. They're split down the long end, and they work too, and they would definitely be faster. But old fabric that doesn't have to go in the garbage or the secondhand store, it doesn't cost anything, you know, nothing wrong with that. Alright, so I save old jars and put them over the top of the T-post, and that protects the plastic. When you put the plastic over the top, you don't want it rubbing against something sharp. So all the T-posts need glass. Plastic also works. Also, plastic does not shatter. Pull that out while I'm here. So there's another potato. And I'm trying not to harvest more than what we'll eat in one meal. I kind of like to leave it in here growing, because then they stay really nice and fresh. Oh, that's a big one. It's a nice one. Oh, another good one. And every time I just had like a basket of potatoes that I just kind of didn't want to think about anymore, I'd bring them out and just pop them into the hotbed. And make sure you're going deep enough while you're looking. You need to go deep enough. But it's June here, and just barely most people are starting to put their potatoes in right now, whereas this is when I'm harvesting. And you can see from the pretty little white bumps that they're super, super fresh. I just need to make sure I went deep enough everywhere. And I'm not replanting in this space. I'm letting these more... Okay, I'm coming. I just have to try and figure out which one to pull. I like to leave the dirt in if I can. And again, you don't give your rabbits potatoes plants. I'm not giving them potato plants. I'm giving them like Chinese cabbage like this. But I also want to be careful that it isn't so much food that it's going to make the rabbits sick, since they're used to their dry hay ration right now, and if I go in and just completely fill them up on greens, it's going to make them sick. I have been giving them little bits of greens every day, but not this much.
Did you find what you wanted? Is that the good stuff? Should we see if Kynette wants some? Is this the only one? Did you want some, Lydia? She's just worried about coming up and messing with Kynette. There you go, Mom. You want some? I'm coming. All right, we're gonna go take the rest of this to the pigs. See what she thinks of the greens. Hi, Mama. What do you think? Is that good stuff? Is that what we want? There's babies. I don't know how good you can see them. She had 7, and she kept all 7, even though we're freezing at night. This is just an IBC tote. This we're not real happy with. It's really gunky and messy, but we had to separate her, and it's what we had. We have a new house for her that's clean and beautiful, but she surprised us. Huh, Mama? Yeah, those are good greens. All right, here's our others. Hey guys, want some greens? The further into the summer we get, the less we have to spend on food for these guys, because the bigger the garden gets, the more we can get to 100% feeding them from the garden. See that? Yep. All right, go around and I'll have you feed rabbits. Say it again.
Look at that. That's like 3 of them, but they're super big and pretty.
Okay, only 1 leaf for the new buck,
Okay.
and you can give the other to our older buck, because he's more used to it.
How about this? I can give her.
She could just have that whole bunch.
Yeah, except for 1 leaf. Hey, babies.
Yeah, they all need new water.